Good afternoon. Several police services, including Toronto Police, were in Windsor this morning to announce the results of Project Bay. It resulted in the seizure of $139 million worth of illegal drugs. CP24's Steve Ryan's been following the story and joins us live with more details. Steve.
Nathan, this was a joint forces investigation that was as a result of some very good police work by multiple jurisdictions, recognizing crime patterns, analyzing the data, comparing that data with other police services. And as a result, Project Bay was put together over a year ago. It involved the Windsor Police, the CBSA, the OPP, PO Region, and the Toronto Police. We heard the announcement today with regards to the seizures, $139 million worth of drugs, which included cocaine, opium, and methamphetamines, weight of 1.7 metric tons. So it's just a huge seizure of illicit drugs taken from the streets across this country. 17 firearms were seized as well. 21 people arrested, facing over 100 charges. Some, again, very good police work to disrupt and dismantle what police are calling a very sophisticated, organized group that were transporting these drugs in transport trucks, commercial transport trucks, under the guise that they were transporting commercial goods. And they were, in fact, allegedly transporting these illicit drugs across the border and making their way throughout this country. So again, some very good police work by multiple police services in this province, and now some very serious charges being laid against these 21 now accused. We did hear from many of the representatives from the different police services in Windsor today, and here is some of what was said.
A key finding of the investigation was the identification of a broker-style transportation model operating within the commercial transportation sector. Investigators identified a network coordinating the movement and distribution of large quantities of drugs through otherwise legitimate supply chains. This included coordinating shipments and arranging drivers to knowingly transport concealed drugs within commercial loads.
This type of work is particularly important for Windsor community. As a border city, we are not just combating local crime. We are combating crime that moves across international boundaries. The drugs and weapons trafficked through this community typically spread across other communities in Ontario. And together with our partners, we are cutting them off at the source.
Homeland Security and the U.S. DEA were also involved, Nathan, in this very sophisticated and very effective joint forces operation.
All right.
Back to you.
CP24 Steve Ryan, thank you. A 21-year-old man was sent to hospital after being shot in Brampton last night. Peel police were called to a plaza near Dixie and Lisa Street around 9. Now, the victim was taken to hospital with gunshot wounds, but is expected to survive. Peel Police's major crime unit has taken over the investigation, but has not released any details about possible suspects. They're asking anybody with information to come forward. 63 suspects are facing more than 200 charges following a province-wide investigation into the online exploitation of children. Investigators working on Project Time say they also identified and safeguarded 51 victims who were targeted by people making, possessing, and distributing child sex abuse material. Police say 2 of the accused were in positions of trust and authority, while 8 were repeat offenders. The number of charges against some of the accused in the Project South investigation has been reduced as the case moves forward in Superior Court. 7 Toronto police officers and a retired constable are among 27 suspects charged. It follows an investigation by York Regional Police, which uncovered allegations of bribery, drug trafficking, and conspiracy to commit murder. Investigators have identified Brian DaCosta and Constable Timothy Barnhart as key figures in the investigation. Court documents show they're both facing fewer charges than were initially laid. The case has been adjourned until September. Earlier this week, retired Constable Derek McCormick pleaded guilty to 1 count of theft under $5,000 and 1 count of breach of trust. He was given a 10-month conditional sentence. Police Chief Myron Demkew's report on 2025 crime numbers is being tabled at the Toronto Police Services Board meeting today. The report shows a significant drop in crime last year. And CTV's John Musselman joins us live from police headquarters with more on the meeting and the stats. John.
Well, Nathan, the Police Services Board meeting is underway right now. It's in camera, but this afternoon it will open to the public. And part of the agenda here includes the Chief's annual report. Now, that looks at the crime stats over the last year. And as you mentioned, a lot of the numbers are down when we're talking about homicides, robbery, fraud, assaults, sexual assaults. All of the numbers are trending downwards. We're also reading numbers on traffic fatalities that are down, pedestrians fatalities are down, but there was one increase, and that was in motorcycle fatalities, up 75%. So we are here outside police headquarters. We will be in the meeting this afternoon to go look at these numbers, talk to the people about the Chief's annual report, and try to get some reaction to this story. And we'll have much more on it, Nathan, tonight on CTV News at 5 and 6. Reporting live outside police headquarters, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, John. Mayoral candidate Brad Bradford weighed in on the crime stats at an announcement this morning where he outlined plans to speed up the hiring of police officers.
I'm pleased to hear that we're making some improvements on some of those fronts, and I think that gives full credit to the Toronto Police Service and the work that they've been doing on that. The reality is also that people don't feel safer. And I talk to lots of folks across all 630 square kilometers of this city, and they tell me every day they feel less safe, whether that's on the transit system, in the parks, at festivals, or even in their own home or their apartment. My job is not to convince people of how they ought to feel. My job is to listen to how they feel and make sure that local government is responding to that. And, I think it's sometimes it comes across as a bit tone deaf when people are concerned, when people feel afraid to come out and whack them with a bunch of statistics.
Mayor Olivia Chow has called building a safer city a top priority, pointing to frontline hiring efforts and community investments. Councillor Bradford said he would hire 1,000 more police officers in his first term if elected to the top job. He said police hiring has not kept up with population growth or per capita levels in other major cities. Peel Police have introduced artificial intelligence to handle some calls on its non-emergency line. The police say the change will allow for its operators to focus on emergency and high-priority calls. It says some residents who call the non-emergency line will speak with an AI-powered voice assistant, which will provide information, services, and reporting options. If the assistant detects an emergency that it can't assist the caller with or doesn't understand the request, the call will be transferred to a live operator. Well, you could say it brought new meaning to the term engine coil after a Mississauga Animal Services worker pulled a python from under the hood of a vehicle in the city. On July 13th, Mississauga Animal Services were advised about a python trapped inside the engine compartment of a vehicle. They were able to successfully remove the snake, which they say was dehydrated and had a few scratches, but was otherwise healthy. The python is now recovering at the Mississauga Animal Shelter. Still to come, the Prime Minister's meeting with Canada's premiers in Prince Edward Island today. We'll have more on their discussions, including potential responses to U.S. tariff threats a little later in the newscast. And we have more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. Here's a live shot of the city this afternoon. Lots of sunshine. We're back to seasonal temperatures. That's good. Hopefully it sticks around for a while. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison with a look at the current conditions, and certainly a big change from what we had maybe yesterday, Lindsay.
Yeah, Nathan, it was a little cool early this morning, but nice rebound in temperature this afternoon means that, yes, we are back to our seasonal average or close to it already. 24 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport. You may recall this time yesterday, almost everyone was in the teens temperature-wise, so a great improvement. It's going to be a nice, comfortable day, feeling a little more like 30 by the warmest point of the afternoon. Right now, winds are out of the west. They're not particularly strong, but there is a light breeze out there, and it's loads of sunshine for today. We don't have to worry about the threat of showers or cloudiness taking over. It's also another pretty good air quality day. We are at a 3 on the AQHI, or low risk. That's a good thing once again. 26 degrees, expected to feel more like 30 this afternoon. Mainly sunny skies and a clear night tonight. Coming up, we're going to take you through the weather forecast where things change ever so slightly. That's all ahead. For now, Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Prime Minister Mark Carney is meeting with Canada's premiers and territorial leaders in Charlottetown today. He spoke this morning about the situation facing Canada amid the recent U.S. tariff threats.
Canadian governments around this table will do whatever it takes to defend and support our families, our workers, and our businesses. Let's also be clear that we are in a stronger position than we were when this trade war started 18 months ago. We're in a stronger position because of the determination of Canadians themselves, and I will say this, because of the focus of the premiers around this table.
And CTV's Maria Saru is in Charlottetown and joins us live with the latest on the meeting. So, Maria, the Prime Minister is going to be meeting with the premiers in person today. What are we expecting from those discussions?
Yeah, hey there. We're expecting trade talks to be at the forefront. Since Tuesday, reporters here have been pressing the premiers on how they want to move forward when it comes to the trade war with the U.S., and we've heard different ideas. So, for example, Ontario's Premier Doug Ford has really pushed for retaliatory tariffs, saying we need to hit back at the bully, and he said that options like cutting off Ontario's electricity exports to the U.S. or implementing a surcharge, all of those are on the table. Meanwhile, Alberta's Premier Danielle Smith shot down the idea of using oil or potash as leverage. So differences of ideas there. We also know that the United States trade rep said yesterday that his understanding is Canada won't hit back, but we've heard some indications that Canada's chief trade negotiator to the U.S. and Canada's ambassador to the U.S. have been looking at potential pressure points that could be used in this retaliatory response. So that could include targeting regions where the cost of living is particularly high for Americans, or where that could intersect with close congressional races. So we'll be listening to hear from the Prime Minister on whether that could be part of Canada's approach or not.
Of course, we know that trade's going to dominate discussions, like you said, but there are other major concerns as well, Maria.
Yeah, a long list formed for Ottawa here yesterday. We saw the premiers rally around the common pressures that their provinces are facing. So healthcare was a big one. There was a joint call from all the premiers for Ottawa to increase the Canada health transfer by 5% starting in 2028. We'll also be looking to hear from the Prime Minister on whether Ottawa is considering that. We also heard lots of advocacy for energy projects for premiers across the country, and some already got their wish. You know, PEI's premier has been pushing for 2 new subsea cables between the island and New Brunswick, and earlier today he announced about $6 million from Ottawa for that. So some good news for the island.
All right, some good news. CTV's Maria Saru in Charlottetown. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, wildfires continue to burn across the country, with the situation worsening in British Columbia. A new fire has expanded quickly near Boston Bar, where hundreds of properties are under evacuation orders.
You know, you can see the sparks are falling everywhere. There's a tree on fire.
Doorbell cameras have captured the Brunswick fire complex burning near Boston Bar. The new Anderson Creek fire has joined a 3-fire complex burning out of control near the community. More than 450 properties are under evacuation orders. And more than 180 properties are under evacuation orders because of a wildfire burning north of Clinton, BC. Firefighters battling that fire have been gathering at a local cafe in the community to rest. Meanwhile, provincial officials now say 180 active fires are burning in northern Ontario, and that's an increase of 7 compared to yesterday. Despite a warning not to return to their homes, there are reports several people are going back, claiming the province isn't doing enough to protect their homes. The OPP are reminding people who've been ordered out to stay away or risk hundreds of dollars in fines. And CTV's Scott Hurst has been following the wildfire situation across the country and joins us with more. Scott, major concerns in British Columbia.
Nathan, in British Columbia, to pick up on your conversation about some of those growing fires out there now, there are more than 80 fires in that province, and just under half of them are considered out of control. And BC wildfire officials are warning that there won't be much weather-related relief, at least in the week ahead, which will make it very difficult for fire crews to continue to battle the fires that are still growing and to even potentially try to get the upper hand on some of the fires. And so it is quite a dynamic situation in British Columbia, where it is also impacting multiple highways that are key connecting routes through the province. And when it comes to these highways through British Columbia, because of the mountainous terrain, you shut off a highway because of a wildfire threat. Of course, it makes it very difficult for people to get in and out, and a bit more difficult for crews to get in and out as well with some of the big machinery that is needed. And when you cut off one of these highways because of the wildfire threat, because of the wildfire concern, particularly in British Columbia, because of the terrain, there aren't many other options, so it can cut off entire communities. So the situation in BC is concerning and could get even more concerning in the week ahead because of the lack of help from Mother Nature, Nathan.
Right, we can't forget this province. A lot of concern about the fires burning here in Ontario.
Big concern still here in Ontario, really with a combination of extreme heat, dry conditions, and gusting winds. It's turned a bad situation worse in this province and other parts of the country as well. As you mentioned, more than 180 fires still burning in the province of Ontario, and this fire season is record-setting in a way you never want, churning through more forests, more land and brush than any previous recorded year. Now, the federal government is doing more to step up its response, with the Prime Minister yesterday announcing he convened the Incident Response Group to better monitor and react to the wildfire threat. Of course, that is across the country, with Prime Minister Carney saying the feds have mobilized more than 5,300 firefighters and nearly 300 aircraft. The Prime Minister also highlighting in a press release that was put out, support is coming from the Mexican government, offering up to 200 firefighters, according to the Prime Minister, Nathan, could be on the way in the coming weeks.
All right, CTV's Scott Hurst in the CTV National Newsroom. Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan.
In the Middle East, the U.S. military has conducted its 12th straight night of attacks against Iran. Donald Trump vowed yesterday to destroy an Iranian bridge or power plant every time Tehran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Today, the U.S. president said he's seriously considering restarting major combat operations in Iran, and that could include larger strikes. Trump believes Iran hasn't received enough pain yet, but he hasn't made a final decision. Iran said today it attacked U.S. military sites in Jordan and in Kuwait. Elsewhere, a satellite image from NASA appears to show an oil tanker ship on fire. Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis say they attacked 2 Saudi vessels in the Red Sea. Now, it was the rebels' first reported attack on a ship since announcing a blockade of Saudi-linked vessels earlier this week. Trump is now threatening major military punishment if the strikes continue. He says the Houthis are a proxy of Iran, which will also be held responsible. Meanwhile, the U.S. says a civilian nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia is conditional on Riyadh joining the Abraham Accords to normalize relations with Israel. The agreement was announced yesterday and would allow the kingdom to enrich uranium and build nuclear reactors using American technology. It would not be subject to snap UN inspections. The deal has to pass the U.S. Congress to go into force. The Saudis have long said they would not sign the Abraham Accords unless there was an agreed roadmap to Palestinian statehood. Well, officials, including the mayor, are making an announcement in Scarborough this morning about the next steps for a local community neighborhood center. Let's listen in live.
Thank you, MP Jean Yip, and thank you, Councillor Nick Mantis. Today isn't simply about a new building. It's about what happens when a community refuses to let go of an idea. For decades, this site was a school, a place where children learned, neighbors met, and community took shape. When it closed, the neighborhood lost more than a building. It lost a place where people belonged. But the people of Bridletown never stopped believing this land could once again serve its community. They organized, they advocated, they reminded all of us that great communities are not built for residents, they are built with residents. That's what makes today's announcement so meaningful. A community hub is more than a collection of services. It is the vital social infrastructure we need across Toronto. It brings childcare, recreation, health, settlement, and community services together in one place, making it easier for people not only to find support, but to build relationships, strengthen connections, and create a deeper sense of belonging. At United Way, we've been investing in neighborhood hubs for more than 15 years because we've seen what they make possible. Stronger relationships, better access to services, more resilient communities. When people have places to connect, communities are better equipped to weather the challenges and seize opportunities. Years from now, I hope this building is known less for what it is and more for what it makes possible. A child who discovers their potential, a newcomer who finds community, a senior who feels connected, a family that finds the support they need close to home, all under one roof. That is the true measure of success. Today, Northeast Scarborough is one step closer to a community hub that will strengthen not just the neighborhood's social infrastructure, but its residents' sense of belonging. Thank you for being here. And now we'll open up for questions.
We'll now pass it over for questions. If your media, just come to the mic over here.
Hello, Mayor. Alan Carter from CTV News. I'll be asking questions on behalf of my press gallery colleagues as well, so you'll apologize for hearing my voice again and again. Let's begin.
That's okay. It's all good.
Thank you. Let's begin with a press conference by Brad Bradford earlier today where he promised to hire 1,000 new police officers, claiming that people feel unsafe in this city. Your response to that?
Well, I haven't seen the plan yet, but we do have a 5-year hiring plan for the Toronto Police, and this was developed with both the Police Service Board, the Chief, and the Police Association, and we worked through it carefully, budgeted for it, and I want to thank all of them for putting it together. The number that was put out seems to be higher, it sounds like, than the 5-year staffing plan. I don't know whether that's realistic, because right now, police training can only, the building itself can only train 90 officers each time, and already it's 4 training program each year. It's the maximum number of officers you can possibly train and graduate, which is 360. And that is our plan. So I don't know. Well, the Toronto Police Association has endorsed the current plan. I do note, though, Councillor Bradford has voted against our budgets, which include our police hiring plan, and we've been hiring more officers in each of my budgets. So he wanted to defund the police, then he didn't want to hire more police officers. Now he said he wants to hire police officers. I don't know where he's at.
One of the
because it changed a few times. I just haven't seen the latest one.
One of the other contentions that Councillor Bradford makes is that you are remiss in not being on the Police Services Board. He pledges he will, if mayor, be on the Police Services Board. Why are you not, and will you change that?
We can talk more about that when we're campaigning later. For me, it will be after Labor Day. I'm here as the mayor of Toronto, and I do know having community hubs, having a place for kids to learn to swim, and young people to gather and play basketball, or teen songs that come and create some arts and learn how to be a DJ. All of that make a neighborhood safer, stronger, healthier. And that's what we're here today to do, to create a community hub and empowering YMCA to build it, and United Way to help bring people together. So I, as a mayor, is incredibly proud in contributing to the strength of this neighborhood. And the byproduct would be that we would have an even safer community.
Hi.
All right, listening to Mayor Olivia Chow. She was there with other officials announcing a commitment to opening a new community center in the new area of Northeast Scarborough there. Now, during a Q&A, she was asked about her commitment to hiring more police officers. She says her plan is to hire 5,000 over 5 years. That's always been her plan. And as to why she isn't on the Police Services Board, candidate Brad Bradford says he would if he became mayor. She says she'll address that issue in September when she really begins campaigning. So, of course, we'll keep on following what comes out of this newser. Let's go to Lindsay.
Well, thank you, Nathan. And we knew it was going to be a cooler start to the day today, but it was, in fact, a single-digit start in many areas. Take a look. These temperatures are not typical of this point in July. Parts of southern Ontario, Goderich, Peterborough, Muskoka, even Hamilton, below 10 degrees to start off the day today. But again, this afternoon, much more normal for this time of year. Temperatures in the mid-20s, feeling a little closer to 30. And the next few days bring similar warmth and more sunshine, although we do have to talk about the weekend and the chance of showers and the risk of thunderstorms. A detailed look at your weather forecast is coming up next here on CTV News at noon. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
All right, let's talk about the forecast. We've had a few cooler days. We've had days with a lot of smoke in the air, but today seems way better, much better conditions. I can't see anybody complaining.
No, it's kind of an uneventful weather day, which I think exactly for the reasons you mentioned. It's been very busy recently. It's been active. It's been hot. It's been smoky at times. This is a day where we can just sit back on the porch, relax, and enjoy. So, yeah, we're going to talk about what's in store heading into the weekend as well, because Saturday and Sunday are approaching. It's already Thursday. And weather-wise, a little bit is going to change, not too much, but there are a few things you may need to know when it comes to your outdoor plans. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. And we will begin by taking a live look outside from the top of Hotel X, looking westward over the city. That, of course, is BMO Field, as we were calling it Toronto Stadium during the World Cup. Things are transitioning back to reality, so to speak. And I'm happy to say that we're back to reality temperature-wise, back to normal, so to speak. It was a bit of a cool morning today. It is going to be another chilly start tomorrow, but at least the daytime highs and afternoon temperatures are a little closer to where we expect them to be in late July. 24 degrees, feels like 25 right now at Pearson Airport, so we're not getting a whole lot of humidity. That's one of the things that's going to increase as we head into the weekend. This is our almanac for July the 23rd. Record to beat is 35 degrees. That won't be happening today, but we will be much closer to our average temperature for this point in July, and that's 27 degrees. We are forecasting an afternoon high of about 26 today. If you're hoping to hit up a patio this evening, nice night for it. Temperatures should remain in the 20s until about 9 p.m., and then we'll dip into teen territory for the overnight. No threat of rain for today or thunderstorms. It is going to be clear tonight, but that actually contributes to it being a little bit cooler in some areas. We don't have clouds acting like insulation or a blanket, so we're very exposed through the overnight hours. So once again, Waterloo, Bancroft, back in the single digits for a low and to start off your day on Friday. By tomorrow afternoon, though, 27 degrees is going to feel a little more like 30, a southeast wind this time around, and just about everyone maybe a degree warmer for Friday compared to today, feeling like 30, feeling slightly warmer than that in some communities. But once again, we are expecting wall-to-wall sunshine. Do just want to bring you up to speed on Tropical Storm Bertha. We've been tracking this system in the Gulf shores of the United States, now sweeping over the state of Texas, and this is going to lose its tropical characteristics pretty quickly as we make our way into the day tomorrow. We'll bring it back a little closer to home. High pressure is dominant over southern Ontario, so when that happens, we have usually a lack of active weather, not much in the way of cloud cover. That's how it's going to play out here for the next couple of days, so very quiet through the rest of today. Your Friday, sunny too. Might see a couple of fair weather clouds drift in. Saturday, okay, a slight change here. I'm going to pause this in the afternoon. We could see a chance of scattered wet weather. So just a few showers here and there. Nothing that should result in you canceling your plans at this point, but do just want to give you a heads up on that. And then into the day on Sunday, a few showers are going to start to creep in. That day, we also have a slight risk of thunderstorms. So just be prepared for Sunday. Maybe have a backup indoor option if you are hoping to do something outside. Temperatures pretty consistent with what we're seeing over the next couple of days, although feeling into the mid-30s this time around. Early next week, a little dip in the temperature for Monday. We are looking at showers that day, and then we are comfortably warm, around 25 degrees for next Tuesday and Wednesday. That's the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lizzie. The Blue Jays will try to avoid getting swept when they wrap up their series with the Tampa Bay Rays this afternoon.
And now a fly ball high and deep to left, and this one will go.
Alejandro Kirk homered for the Jays in the 7th inning last night, but the team went on to lose it 4-2. The Jays continue to fall further out of playoff contention, now sitting 6.5 games back of the final wild card spot. Shane Bieber set to start when they wrap up their series against Tampa at 3:07 in the afternoon at Rogers Centre. It's been 10 games since Toronto FC won, and that hapless streak continued last night.
As far as Carlos Hill from distance, oh, it rattles the bar. Churchman brings it down. How many times have we seen Carlos Hill in that situation? Will he get another chance here? Hill this time denied by Gavron.
TFC and New England played to a scoreless draw, with TFC goalkeeper Luca Gavron making several saves. The draw extends Toronto's winless streak to 11 games. The team will be back on the pitch Saturday to play DC United. You're watching CTV News at noon. Stay with us. Health experts are warning about the dangers of wildfire smoke going far beyond just the lungs. As CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, it also poses a risk of dementia.
One bad day won't cause dementia, for example. But the problem is that we're increasingly having bad day after bad day after bad day. And if people don't take the right kind of precautions, then they're just increasing their risk.
Alison Secular is the chief scientist at Baycrest.
Air pollution in general can cause inflammation in the brain. It can cause changes in the ability of the brain to repair itself. It can cause all kinds of other issues and introduce different kinds of poisons and toxins basically into the brain.
She says the particles are so small they can cross the blood-brain barrier. And it's not just trees that burn. Buildings and vehicles also release toxins into the air.
Things like carbon monoxide will be in there. There are things like benzene and formaldehyde.
She says genetics are a small part of our risk factors for dementia, but the ones we can control go by the acronym BRIGHT. B for body movement, so make sure you exercise daily. R is for rest and relaxation, also important for the body's health. I is for involvement.
Socially and cognitively. So social engagement is really highly critical.
G is for glasses and hearing aids, an under-recognized factor in brain function decline. H is for heart health.
If it's good for your heart, it's actually also good for your brain.
And T is for toxins such as alcohol, smoking, and air pollution. So on days like mid-July, when Toronto had the worst air quality in the world.
So for me, if it's a 4 or higher, I minimize any kind of strenuous activity outside. And on a day like a 10 or a 9 or an 8, I would try not to go outside at all.
Secular says precautions such as an N95 mask are a good idea, especially for older Canadians. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Ottawa's urging anybody traveling to the U.S. to be cautious because of a recent outbreak of a parasite that causes diarrhea. The outbreak has been making headlines across the U.S. with thousands of suspected cases linked to contaminated lettuce. In response, Ottawa has raised its travel advisory for the illness in the U.S. to orange. Travelers are being urged to thoroughly wash fresh fruits and vegetables, even if they're labeled as pre-washed. There have been no known outbreaks in Canada. The city of Kitchener is taking a different approach for its newest public swimming pools. Instead of traditional concrete and tile, 2 new pools will be made of stainless steel. CTV's Alexandra Holick has more on the project that's already making a splash.
Sunlight dances across the surface of these new swimming pools, their shine bolstered by a metallic material.
First stainless steel pool in the city of Kitchener.
The Cowan Recreation Centre will feature an 8-lane, 25-meter pool alongside a program pool for aquatic activities.
That will actually allow us to have 48,000 more swim class spots for residents of city of Kitchener and beyond.
It's a first for the city and the region of Waterloo. The durable design is a dive into uncharted waters.
It initially may feel a little differently when you first step into the pool. Overall, it provides for a better user experience and, as I said, less downtime. It's actually the more sustainable choice.
Now that the pools are filled, the city says maintenance will be minimal, which in turn will use less water and boost environmental benefits.
There's less chemicals that are required, it holds the temperature better, and there's less potential for operational impacts.
Mayor Barry Verbanovic says any repairs can be done without draining the pool.
If there was ever anything that needed to be adjusted on the stainless steel, it's welding that can happen underwater.
As for the project's price tag and timeline, the city says it's floating along.
It's in fact on time and on budget and something we're very excited about.
As excitement builds, so does the rest of the rec center. While an official opening date has yet to be announced, the plan is to welcome the public before the end of this year. Alexandra Holick, CTV News, Kitchener.
Still to come, a key deadline is fast approaching for federal civil servants as Ottawa looks to cut the number of workers on its payroll. Full details just ahead here on CTV News at noon. Federal workers have till tomorrow to apply for an early retirement program. In December, roughly 68,000 public servants were given notice they were eligible for early retirement. So far, more than 9,000 workers have applied. Federal workers approved for early retirement will need to retire by January of next year. The impacts of artificial intelligence are wide-ranging and can sometimes be problematic. A restaurant in southwestern Ontario found that out the hard way this weekend when Google's AI results began telling people they were closing later this month. And of course, that's not true. And the owners jumped into action. CTV's Jeff Pickle has their story.
But like that, you know what I mean? Like how confusing that is?
It was a heart-stopping moment for Anna May's owner, Amanda Herford.
Panic. Panic is what I was thinking. How could this information be so wrong?
A friend sharing a Google search results describing the upcoming closure of her restaurant.
Anna May's Bakery and Restaurant in Millbank, Ontario, officially closed on July 31st, 2026. The beloved long-running establishment, famous for its roasted chicken and homemade pies.
The problem started a week before when another Anna May's in Illinois announced their closure. But she says the search results at that time were clear it was a different store.
If you actually looked up our name or our website or anything, it came up normal, it came up fine, everything looked as is, it said nothing about us closing.
That changed over the weekend when the Google AI results gave very specific information that Anna May's in Millbank was closing. Herford says people started calling, asking if they were shutting down.
So that's when I got very concerned, thinking this misinformation can ruin a business and perceptions of people and spread false information very quickly.
According to experts, this type of mistake is common.
When you don't have a human in the loop and there's information that's being scraped and being processed, there is a very real possibility that errors can happen.
While Anna May's mix-up appears to be an innocent mistake, sometimes the intentions can be nefarious.
And AI has made it really easy for scammers to replicate websites. So what a lot of people are seeing now is deals that are just too good to be true. Stores shutting down, liquidation sale.
Herford says thankfully the problem was resolved quickly through the Google chatbot.
I just decided to put into the messages saying, hi, we are the owners, we are not closing. I think you have us confused with the Anna Mays in Illinois that is closing. And then it wrote back and said, oh yes, I can see how this could be detrimental and we will get this fixed in our research right away.
Herford says she worries about the potential impact of this AI mix-up.
It was just a terrible thing to know that all your hard work can be undermined in such a short period of time by a confusing AI message.
For those worried about misinformation, experts say don't believe the first thing that pops up on the internet.
If it says that a store is shutting down, or if a deal is too good to be true, or there's information that just catches you by surprise, sometimes go old school. Pick up the phone, call the company, call the organization, and just validate and verify the information.
We reached out to Google but did not receive comment by airtime. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Millbank.
Major construction is now underway on the Yonge North subway extension. The project will see Line 1 extended nearly 8 kilometers north from Finch Station into Vaughan, Markham, and Richmond Hill. Officials say crews have finished removing almost 70,000 cubic meters of soil to make way for 2 tunnel boring machines to begin the work. The province recently issued a request for proposals to design and build the extension stations, tracks, and support systems. It says the new infrastructure will help take cars off the roads, with 94,000 riders expected each day. There's still no official opening date. The Toronto International Film Festival continues to roll out this year's lineup. Today, the focus was on the primetime program made up of TV and streaming titles making their debut. The opening series will be Jesse McEwen's Below, a Netflix thriller shot and set in Newfoundland. Amazon Prime's miniseries Carrie will also have its world premiere as the closing series screening at TIFF. The full lineup won't be out until August 11th. The festival takes place from September 10th to the 20th. Coming up, a brush with fame at a St. John's hotel bar. We'll have more on a pop star dropping in to play alongside a local duo when we come back. A big moment at Canada's Wonderland today as the park revealed the new and improved version of a beloved roller coaster. Say goodbye to Flight Deck. Guests were on hand this morning for the official debut of the Daredeviler. The inverted coaster is sticking to the skies with its new theme, inspired by the stunt pilots and air shows of the 1920s.
These new trains really make the guest experience much more comfortable and enjoyable. So as you're going around at 90 kilometers an hour, you'll feel the speed, and there's a little bit more open air for you as you're watching yourself on the ride.
It was awesome. It will keep going upside down every like 2 seconds.
Would you go on it again?
Yeah.
I liked how fast it was, and it's very smooth. I don't smash my head against the chairs anymore.
Once was great, twice was whew. It was a lot. It was great.
It's so much smoother. It's so exciting. Like, you get to take everything in. It's mind-blowing. It's so great.
Wonderland says the Daredeviler reflects its efforts to bring fresh energy to classic attractions. A musical duo in Newfoundland had a recent brush with fame at a hotel bar. The pair were performing when a pop star emerged from the crowd to join them on stage. CTV's Garrett Berry has the story.
It was this singing voice that inspired one of the music industry's biggest stars at a gig in St. John's.
She runs up to the front of the stage and she was like, "Can I sing with you?" And I was like, "Sure," still not clicking in who it was.
Who it was, pop music singer Kesha. Just an hour or so before she took the stage at a music festival, she joined local artists, Julia Dawson and Bruce Smith, for a song at a local bar.
Once she came on stage, you know, she had the vibe going, she was dancing, and it just felt incredibly natural.
She was harmonizing and singing, and I was like, oh my God, it's Kesha next to me, like 2 feet from my face.
A pinch me moment for the young duo, who are working to build a music career at home in Newfoundland and Labrador. Kesha even posted online about her drop-in performance, writing on Twitter, "Incredible voice, I was stunned." Maybe this moment in the spotlight could build into a crescendo and push the duo to bigger music careers.
I hope that it brings more recognition to the work that we're doing, and that, you know, more people will come check out our work as the duo and what we do as soloists as well.
The dream would be to go on tour and show people my music and, you know, do the thing, be the person, you know, that everyone wants to see.
Either way, it will always be an incredible story and a point of pride.
Like the ultimate, like, mom lore drop. It should just be like, when I have kids and stuff someday, I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, one time I performed with Kesha.
Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
You know, I'm sure they'll never forget that. It's so cool who you might run into maybe at a hotel or the airport.
Yeah, and you never know what that brush with fame might do for those two young stars. So fingers crossed for them.
As for the forecast, a nice looking day so far.
We will take this. It's comfortable. It's sunny. It's a beautiful day to spend some time outside. And tonight is going to be crystal clear in the sky, but it is going to be a little cool again. 12 degrees is what we're forecasting for a low. Tomorrow, similar to today, 27 degrees, the forecast daytime high. That is seasonal. It's the temperature we expect on average at this time of year in July. If you're off to the cottage or a campground this weekend, we're already looking ahead. And Sunday, I do want to point out, you too have a slightly elevated chance of showers and the risk of thunderstorms in places like Collingwood, Muskoka, and the Kawarthas. There's one more look at your 7-day forecast for the city of Toronto. Plan for possible wet weather this weekend, but by no means a washout, Nathan.
All right, looking good. Thanks, Lindsay. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca. For Lindsay and all of us here, have a great day. I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great day.